So shallow focus is normally used in portrait photography because if you're taking a picture of someone like, I've got Marina there in the background, if I was taking a picture of her with this rocky background, I'd want the rocks to be out of focus. So normally, portrait shoots, you have nice soft focus, but in landscape photography, it's used less often. And I'm one of the most guilty people of that because I love everything to be sharp in pictures. So it makes a nice change for me to be doing this. And I'll certainly try and be doing it more often from now on. So I'm just going to take a shot of Marina, one at f8 and one at f22. So I've been walking around these marram grasses for some time now, trying to find a good foreground, because some of them are a bit messy, some of them are shooting up in different directions. But I managed to find some which have still got some flowers on, which I rather like. So I'm just going to put those into the bottom left of the frame and then have the two rocks on the horizon, which are called Carter's rocks or gull rocks, on the top right of the frame. So I've done the right thing, which is, I have to remember this for myself, even though I've been doing photography for so many years. You get your composition sorted out with the camera first, forget the tripod, and then put the tripod down in the place where you want to take the shot from. So time to put the camera on finally and do the fine tuning of the composition. Now that is looking really good, and even on a grey day like this, where I honestly was going to give up on doing a vlog at all, yeah, I do like it. So I've got grasses in the bottom third of the frame, sky in the top third of the frame, and then the sea and the beach in the middle. It looks pretty good in 3x2. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be able to visualise how to compose it in 16:9 format, because at the moment I'm in 3x2 because my camera's a full frame camera, so it's 3x2. If yours is an APS-C camera, it'll also be in 3x2 ratio. If you've got a micro 4/3 camera, the 4/3 bit means you've got 4:3 ratio, so it's slightly squarer than 3x2. But what I'm going to do now is do a quick dip into 16:9 just to see how it looks in 16:9 compared to 3x2. And the quickest and easiest way to do that is just to switch the camera into video mode, and then you've got instant 16:9. And it actually does look really good in 16:9. I switched it into video mode just so I could see how it looks at 16:9, and it does look good. So what I'm going to do now is switch it back to normal camera mode, and then take the actual shot in 3x2, and then I can always crop it to 16:9 if I want to. So this is pretty nice because you can see the beach through the grasses. This is called marram grass, and I've put the ones that are in flower, there are 3 of them. I put them on the left hand side of the frame so that they counterbalance the rocks of Holywell Bay, the Carter's rocks. And now I'm pretty close to these grasses, so it's going to be impossible to do a focus stack because the range is too big, and you'll be able to see the difference between the grasses that are focused close and the beach. So I'm just going to actually focus on the beach and let the grasses go soft. I don't really care for this shot. So I've just had a really good look at this shot before I take it with my glasses on, and I think I actually prefer it if I'm focused on the grasses themselves, and I don't think it matters that the rocks in the distance are going to be soft. I think that's better than the other way round. So scrub what I said earlier, because I think focusing on the rocks and letting the grasses go soft is not as good. I might just take both, just because then I can just choose later on when I'm relaxing in front of the computer and can just study them both carefully and make my choice then. So I like the shot so much by just focusing on the grasses and to hell with the rest, let the rest go soft. I like that so much, and I'm shooting at f8, that what I'm going to do is put the camera down up to its maximum aperture, and the maximum aperture is obviously the smallest number. I'm sure most of you know that. So on this lens, the maximum aperture, the largest aperture, is f4. So I'm going to take it down to f4 and take that shot as well. So I'll have one at f8 and then one at f4, and then I can choose the better one later on. So the best shot at Holywell turned out to be the one at f4, the largest aperture, because it's really good when you've got a nice contrast between sharp grasses in the foreground and then a softer rocks and beach in the distance. I like that kind of contrast in a scene where you've got sharp and soft. It works well for portraits, flower photography, and I'm trying to do it more in landscape photography, which is what this video is all about. So I've got a slightly different problem now because I'm here at Godrevy Lighthouse. I'll show you what I got through my viewfinder. And there are some gulls stood in the foreground of Godrevy Lighthouse, and what I'd ideally like to do is get them sharp, but Godrevy Lighthouse soft in the background. But because they're so far away, it's almost impossible to do because they're both a long way away. Therefore, both the lighthouse and the gulls are going to be sharp no matter what aperture I choose. So I've got to get closer, and the only way to do that is to do it slowly, because otherwise I'm going to frighten the gulls off. And it could be tricky. So, but I'll give it a go. I've already taken a shot from back here just to make sure I've got one in the bag. Now I've just got to move closer. Well, that didn't quite work. I came through this deep puddle to try and sneak up on the gulls without disturbing them, and got a Wellington boot full of water. Oh dear, never mind. There's the puddle, look. Yes, it was deeper than I thought. Never mind. I got the shot I wanted, so I guess it's all right. Luckily, I've got a pair of spare socks in the car, so I shall go back and change now. So I just found another composition, and it's the same sort of thing. Gulls in the foreground, Godrevy Lighthouse in the background, but there were some nice blackback gulls in amongst the herring gulls, so I thought it'd make a slightly different shot. So I was just starting to take a few of those, and I saw a couple with their dog walking on the beach, and I was kind of silently praying, please don't let them disturb the gulls, please don't let them disturb the gulls. And then of course the dog ran forward and all the gulls flew off, and look at the picture I got. So I found a shot here now up in the dunes at Godrevy, and my long lens is a 100 to 400 Sony lens, and at 400mm the maximum aperture, the largest it will go, is 5.6 f5.6, and it just makes the lighthouse just look like a blob of white and fairly unrecognizable. And now this is the shot taken at f16, which is something I wouldn't normally do because the smaller apertures tend to have slightly less quality. But anyway, I think the f16 shot will work out best. But anyway, we'll see when I get back to the office. Right, time to get back to the car and change these wet socks. So I've got a similar kind of thing going on here, because I've got marram grass in the foreground and St Michael's Mount in the background. And I think these kind of shots work best when you've got something which is quite recognisable. So if you've been to St Michael's Mount before, you'll obviously know the shape of it. And so this picture, even though it's a bit abstract, is still going to be, it's still going to be obvious because it's got an iconic landmark in it. So I think it's important to have iconic landmarks as well in your shallow depth of field pictures. So now I'm at Perranporth, one of my favourite beaches. It's got so many good photo opportunities here. See my other video about it if you haven't already seen it, because there's so much potential here for photographers, and a lot of photographers seem to ignore it. So avoid it at your peril. So I'm trying another shallow focus shot today, which is the same kind of theme. So it's gulls in front of these two rocks, which are called Borden rocks. And because I'm a bit closer to the gulls and the rocks are further away, even at f8 I'm getting quite nice shallow depth of field. So I'm going to take several shots, and because the reason I'm taking several shots is because I want the gulls to look at their best position. So you don't want one of them preening and doing that. You want them all to have their kind of profile facing you, because that will make for a better shot. So 2-second timer, and I'm just going to keep firing away until I get one that I'm happy with. A surfer's gone out and scared the flipping gulls off. Oh well, I think I've got one good shot, I'll show you that. So I'm shooting into the sun and it's a fairly overcast evening. So there's not much colour at all. So I think this will end up being a black and white image. I guess we'll see when I get back to the office. But that's fine, I love black and white. I grew up with it. I used to process my own black and white film in my kitchen. Chemicals lying around everywhere. And then I think, oh, I need to make dinner. Move the chemical trays. Oh, thank goodness for Photoshop, that's all I can say. I don't ever want to go back to those days. There was something magical about it when the image appears on a print in your developing dish, under a red safe light. There's something magical about that. But I'm just glad that digital has overtaken. So there's not much action at the moment, so I'm just waiting around for the sun to sink a little bit lower. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to just try some long exposures. So I've put on a 10-stop ND filter, neutral density filter, and I've just taken a shot. I'll show you that one. then I'm going to stack another, this is a 4-stop ND filter on the top to make a total of obviously 14 stops of light. So this should be a nice long exposure. It's just going to make it look a little bit dreamy, and some of the gulls are coming back now, so I'll take another shot of those in a minute. So yeah, when you've got them stacked, I've got an exposure now of 30 seconds at f13. 30 seconds at f13, so we'll see what that looks like. Could be disastrous. 30 seconds is a long time, so talk amongst yourselves. An Irishman walked into the library and he said, "Can I have some fish and chips, please?" And the librarian said, "This is a library." And he said, "Oh, sorry, can I have some fish and chips, please?" Still going. That was an Irishman told me that joke. So there's quite a thick blanket of cloud over there, and the sun's just going down, and I'm hoping it's going to show through underneath, and as soon as it does that I'll be ready. It's just a waiting game now, but it's looking like it might be good. No, it's not going to happen. It's a bit of a shame, but never mind. But underneath the bank of cloud I was talking about, there's another bank of cloud, and the sun is now right behind that. I'll show you. What a shame. Never mind. It's just great to be out here. I've been to this beach so many times. I love it every time, especially on a nice, fairly windless night like tonight. Just in my element. I'm not much of a beach goer during the day. I don't tend to like swimming in the sea as much as I used to. I'm not a surfer, but beaches at low tide for photography, my kind of photography heaven. So that's the second time in one video I've been caught out and stupidly risked things with my Wellingtons on, and I've got, not only have I got soaked feet, but I've got soaked jeans this time as well. I just took my risks. I've just been shooting at Perranporth. I thought, oh, I'll walk over the freshwater stream, that'll be all right, because I've got Wellington boots on. Of course, I took a risk. Got to some really soft sand where my Wellington stuck right down into the sand. And then when I tried to pull myself out, I fell over and just landed face first down into the flipping... No, not face first, but I got soaking wet up here. Anyway, it's all good. I got spare socks. My jeans can wait because it's only about 10 miles to get home. So thanks for watching this video, and I really appreciate it. Until next time, bye for now.